Hey guys, I've got some more wild Reddit stories here and a bunch of work to do on my half abandoned village. Thanks for stopping by again, and let's get right into it.
Am I the asshole for not wanting my boyfriend to play video games with his female friend? I'm 23 female and he's 23 male. He has this one female friend he's known since middle school that he sometimes plays video games with. Usually they play late at night, but typically they play in a group of people, mostly all guys. They only game every once in a while, but I don't know, I have a weird feeling about her. She used to have a crush on him in high school, but he said he was mean to her when she would try flirting with him. They agreed to just be friends, and she currently has a boyfriend of about 5 years. When my boyfriend and I started dating, he said he told her that I'm the most beautiful girl he's seen, and he's really serious about me. He said that she said she wanted to meet me and wanted her and her boyfriend and us to all go on a double date. My boyfriend hasn't made much of an effort to introduce us, and he doesn't hang out with her in person anymore. When he stopped hanging out with her, she got really upset and was texting him, "F you, you're supposed to be there for me, you're my childhood friend." And he would just reply, "Gaming." But now he's been gaming with her every few months. Maybe I'm just insecure, but I get a weird vibe from her. Also, one time he said that he never knew gaming with only two people could be fun after he gamed with her. He told me she's better than me at video games. Maybe he said this to get under my skin because we were having fun gaming, just the two of us, and he games with just him and his guy friend and has fun. Ooh, see, having like a friend who was a girl and you guys just game together, that's fine. It's completely normal. It happens, right? But it does get kind of dicey with what this guy said. When he was like that he has more fun with his gaming friend who was a girl. And you see, you need to be there for your girlfriend. In order for the relationship to work, you need to be supportive and patient of one another. And you just don't say shit like that, right? That's kind of a weird thing. So it could be that she is like, she's kind of jealous and insecure, which is totally fine. It happens to the best of us. It happens in these kinds of situations. However, this guy did nothing to assure her. So, not the asshole in my book. All right, up next, am I the asshole for adopting a dog after I thought my boyfriend broke up with me? My boyfriend was going through a tough time, and he said he needed a break. He said he was going to press pause on our relationship and go visit his family in Washington. I asked how you pause a relationship because I don't understand how that works. He said he needed some time to work on himself and asked me to respect that. After he left, I reached out to him a few times via text, asking him to let me know he arrived safe and to say hi to his mom for me. I received no response. I tried to call and left a message asking if he had broken up with me. I came to the conclusion that he'd ghosted me, and my friends agreed. I was bummed, and my best friend recommended I find something like a new hobby or a new show to watch that wouldn't make me think of my boyfriend. I decided to get a dog. My boyfriend is horribly allergic to pet dander, so I never even considered getting a pet. However, since he broke up with me, I decided to get one. He's a senior dog from the shelter that needed rescuing. He's low energy and likes to lay with his head in my lap while I read, work, or watch TV. After 6 weeks away, my boyfriend texted me that he was back and coming over tomorrow, which was yesterday, so we could talk. I was shocked and texted him back asking what he was talking about. He said he was back and ready to unpause our relationship. He said he would talk to me about everything the next day. I texted back asking what relationship. He didn't answer. Yesterday, he showed up and told me he had done a lot of self-examination and was ready to move forward on his life path. He even wanted to talk about moving in together. Then he saw my dog and started freaking out. He asked me how could I get a dog when I know how sick he gets. I told him that since he broke up with me, I didn't think it mattered. He said he didn't break up with me. I said he ghosted me. He said he communicated with me, telling me he was pressing pause and visiting family. I said not answering texts is ghosting. We argued in circles, and then he said he had to leave because he was getting an allergic reaction, even though he was standing in the doorway, not inside. I feel like he broke up with me, and it was okay that I got a dog. He says that he never did, and therefore it's a horrible act of disregard to have gotten a dog. Which of us is right? My best friend said I should break up with him because he's a jerk. I don't think I should have to break up with someone that already broke up with me. If I break up with him, I'm basically agreeing with him that he didn't break up with me, and therefore I was an asshole for getting the dog. Right? That makes sense. She makes sense. I see where the guy is coming from. However, it seems like he had a plan in his head, but he didn't communicate it properly. He didn't communicate it properly. It wasn't transparent. He wasn't like, okay, here's the deal. I need this time. I need your grace, first of all. I need your grace to have this time. You know, it's going to come from her. You don't just decide. When you're in a relationship with someone, you don't just get to decide to leave, to just disappear and then come back expecting everything to be normal. No. You need to ask first, communicate. Is this okay with you? Let's talk about this later. Blah, 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 blah. And the text thing, it's like, okay, do you want to be texted? Do you want to be communicated with? If that's not cool with a girl, they should have talked about it. There seems to be a lack of communication coming from the guy. The gall on this guy to just assume she's gonna take him back. It's crazy. Not the asshole from this lady. Also, I hope the dog is cute. All right, next one. Am I the asshole for telling my ex and his wife that she was the one who was nobody special or important after all? Ooh, this is a juicy one. My ex and I broke up 20 years ago when our kids were 3 and 1. Our reason was he made a financially reckless decision, buying a very fancy car that we could not afford that he took out debt to buy. That put the financial security of our family at risk without telling me, and then he blew up at me for not supporting his decision and wanting him to sell it and pay off the money he borrowed to get it. He told me a real wife would have supported him and fuck me for wanting to take away something so special. After our divorce, divorce, understandable. He had to sell the car anyway, and he blamed me for it. He was nasty to me in every conversation after that, as long as our kids weren't present. He remarried about 2 years after our divorce. He and his wife told me she was the kids' new mom, and she would be just as important, if not more so, than me. More than once, they told me I was nobody special or important, and the kids would have a much better relationship with the new wife. I had to bite my tongue around the kids whenever my ex's wife would be all over them. I hated the two of them. This stuff was never said/done in front of our kids. I would walk away, but they carried on speaking, and they'd approach me anywhere at any time as long as the kids weren't there to try and claim that I was going to lose my kids to them. The kids ended up hating her and their dad after a while, though, and I was never very sad about that. I think they were always going to have to dislike or to pull away from me or him, because my ex and his wife would never have accepted both. They always believed she would come out on top over me and would be the favorite mom, and that I would be called my kid's birth mother. When the kids were in their mid-teens, they asked the judge to let them live with me full-time, and that was granted. They had calls and non-overnight visitation with their dad that they hated, and now both of them are in college and in their 20s. And there have been no contact with both for a couple of years now. I was recently at the opening of a new restaurant in town when my ex and his wife confronted me over the state of their relationship with the kids. Before they could get too nasty to me again, I smiled and told them that it was not my fault. They destroyed their relationship with the kids, and they were wrong about the outcome. Then I decided to be a little petty, and I gloated that I guess she was the one who was nobody special or important after all, because the kids certainly never called her their mom. I know what I said was petty, and that it was rubbing it in. Maybe it makes me as bad as them. Or maybe not. But it felt good after years of putting up with so much from them. Does it make me the asshole? All right. So, situation, entire situation from the husband and the new wife, kind of petty already. I don't think this makes her an asshole. Maybe it takes her off of any moral high ground, but definitely not. Definitely understandable, not unwarranted, not out of left field. The comment was tasteful, chef's kiss. Mwah. Well done, ma'am. Not the asshole. All right, up next. Am I the asshole for breaking up with my new girlfriend because her ex, who is her friend, needs to get used to the idea of us dating? Man, insecurity is a good start, huh? Okay, so my new girlfriend introduced me to her friend group, including the ex. Admittedly, I never felt entirely comfortable with my now ex being friends with this guy. He acted weird when my ex introduced me. I thought it was me at first. However, my ex explained that her ex told her he needs time to, quote unquote, adjust to her dating me, and told me she was going to try to limit our interaction. I asked her to clarify. I asked her if she's gonna not see him, but she told me not exactly. But she was gonna try to keep me and him apart. To be honest, when I heard how apparently she's gonna actively make her quote unquote friend comfortable like this, I felt a punch in the stomach. I told her I do not feel comfortable with her being friends with a guy who needs to quote unquote adjust to us dating and that we weren't gonna work out. She tried to convince me there's nothing going on between them, but I didn't believe it. I mean, what the fuck is there to quote unquote adjust if they are platonic friends? Okay. Haven't had an asshole yet this session. This might be the first, maybe. I get where he's coming from, right? But if you've ever been in that situation where you broke up with a girlfriend, especially if it was like serious, boyfriend and girlfriend, you know how hard and awkward it gets, and it doesn't just magically go away just because you're platonic. Some people even argue that if you're with someone and you break up, it's hard, you can't be friends anymore. You know, that's reality for some people. So I understand where he's coming from, but I feel like he lacks the empathy to see it from her side and just went full, what the fuck is going on here? No, I don't believe it. Understandable, but you know, you kind of need that second degree of thinking about it and empathizing with the other person to understand. Or even just, if you're not with it, that's fine, but just communicate that well and understand where they're coming from. Kind of the asshole. All right, next one. Am I the asshole for still talking with my ex even after a horrible, painful breakup? Hi. Well, yeah, I know some of you have gotten the idea about the intensity of toxicness by the headline. Still, I would like to explain more in detail. Well, I have dated this guy for 1 year when I was in my last semester of college. We met through Tinder. Initially, it was magic. I almost thought I have found my soulmate. He would say anything that make my heart flutter. I think she means makes her heart flutter. He was an incredible man, and he was the first person I have ever went physical with. Off the topic note, you're going to have to bear with me here. There's a lot of grammatical errors. But anyways, back to it. The problem started when I moved to another city for my job, and we started having a lot of fights about silly reasons, and he would give me the silent treatment for that. That made me miserable. Then I found out he is on a dating app again, and also there were some other girls he was involved with. That shit broke me to hell. And when I asked about it, he clearly admitted. His reason was more interesting, though. He said, "Oh, you're giving me the silent treatment, so I did this, lol." I was so fucking dumb. I still tried to save that relationship. But that dude didn't bother to give a shit at that time. Then we totally stopped talking for 1 year. He still sometimes would call me out of nowhere and talk like nothing really happened between us. Then I blocked him because my life just shattered after that breakup. I didn't need any more drama. After 2 years, I am back to the city for my new job, and again, One day, I got a call from him. Still the same, speaking like nothing has changed. That has given me some complexity about life or my existence. Like, how can someone be so calm or weird? Even after a long time, he hasn't changed even a bit. I think what she means there is like, how can he be so calm? Even like nothing ever happened. But anyways, it doesn't seem like her English is her first language here. Moving on. He still would talk like we are friends and wants to meet with me or wants to hang out with me. I totally doubt if he ever really loved me. Okay, say he didn't, but still, doesn't he feel shame about all of this? What do you think his POV about this is? I just want to get some closure. Okay, this was kind of a rough one. I had to kind of fix the grammatical errors on the fly, but without trying to get lost in translation, I don't think she's the asshole here. I think the guy is an asshole. It's a very common thing that I witness, not with my friends, it's just in general, right? Guy doesn't know how to handle feelings, doesn't know how to reject a girl or to let her down easy. He then ghosts her, doesn't know how to handle it, still wants to be friends, can't communicate, just tries to act like something, like nothing ever happened. It's very, very bad. That's very, very bad. But it is a sign of emotional immaturity. I think not specifically among men, but I see it a lot among men. And yeah, not the asshole here. I'm sorry she had to go through that. All right, next one. Am I the asshole? So last night we went over our friend's house. My lifelong friend that my boyfriend has now become good friends with. And we're having a pool/game night. I, 28 female, have recently gained some weight. I'm about 10 pounds heavier than I usually am. That being said, I'm not big. I weigh 125, but just am not currently comfortable about where I'm at weight-wise, especially in a bathing suit. My boyfriend is aware of this, and I've been trying to eat better and lose a few pounds. My boyfriend was commenting in the pool about my butt in a flirty way. And I make a joke. Yeah, I'm PHAT fat. He responded back by saying, "You're fat in both ways." I held it together at the time, but when we were driving home, I had a full-blown meltdown. My boyfriend is also previously divorced and had made comments about his ex-wife and not being attracted to her anymore because she gained so much weight. I feel super disrespected and not appreciated at all. Am I overreacting? First of all, you're not overreacting. That is not cool. You don't, like, the general rule, right, of people you don't know too well, or just when you're not sure, right, because it's his wife. If you're not sure, try not to make a comment about anyone's physical status that they can't fix in the next 5 seconds. If they can't fix it in the next 5 seconds, don't even mention it, or think 5 times before mentioning it, right? If there's like, I don't know, like sauce on their like cheek or something, they can fix it very quickly. 5 seconds, mention it. Yeah, like, hey, your so-and-so's thing. But if they can't fix it, just don't mention it, right? Or be very, very careful if you do. If that's someone you love, like your wife, you need to be more mindful than that. She's not overreacting. And it sounds like the guy has a track record of doing this, of just like running his mouth and being inconsiderate and insensitive to people in general and people's weights in general. Not the asshole. Guy is, though. Guy's the asshole. Am I overreacting? Not the asshole anymore. Overreacting. For snapping at my best friend for inviting my abusive ex to her wedding because, quote unquote, he's part of the friend group. My best friend, we've known each other since college, is getting married in 2 months and asked me to be a bridesmaid. I was excited until she sent me the guest list and I saw my ex's name on it. This man emotionally abused me for 2+ years, gaslighting, public humiliation, cheating, the works. She was there for all of it. She saw me crying on her couch countless times. We haven't been together for 4 years, but the trauma's still fresh sometimes. When I asked her why he was invited, she said, well, he's part of our friend group and it would be weird if he wasn't there. Don't worry, you won't even have to talk to him. I told her I couldn't believe she was prioritizing social convenience over my emotional safety. She said I was making it about me and weddings, quote unquote, aren't the time for grudges. So I told her I wouldn't feel comfortable attending, let alone standing beside her. She told me I was overreacting and that I was ruining her vibe. I haven't replied since. I feel kind of heartbroken over the friendship. Am I truly overreacting for sitting this one out? This is a complicated situation because the extent of it, it's hard to say, right? Because that's between the couple. The extent of the emotional abuse, it's between the couple. We don't know the nitty-gritty details about it, but I understand where the bride is coming from, right? Like, you invite two exes because they're part of the friend group. However, that dynamic goes, and you just wish that they'd be a part of your special day to celebrate you and your union with your partner, and you hope that they just settle their differences for that one day and just be there for you as friends separately. But I also understand OP's, the bridesmaids, point of view of, you know what I went through, right? Like, you know how hurt I was with what happened. You didn't even bother telling me beforehand. I had to read it. You didn't even mention it. There wasn't even like the consideration of, oh, hey, so-and-so is going, you just letting you know, because I know what happened. But I understand the bride. I'm kind of with the bride on this one. It's been 4 years. Yeah, I think OP is overreacting just a little bit. I don't want to sound like an asshole here. I'm with the asshole. But I don't want to sound like an asshole and sound like I'm making her experience and trauma irrelevant. But yeah, this is one of those moments. Am I overreacting for telling my fiancé I want a prenup after he made a quote-unquote joke about putting everything in his mom's name if we divorce? Ooh. So this just happened and I'm still kind of stunned. My fiancé, 31 male, and I, 29 female, have been together 5 years, engaged for 7 months. We were discussing finances and casually talking about wedding stuff when he joked, well, if we ever split, I'll just put everything in my mom's name. Can't lose what's not mine, right? I laughed awkwardly and said that wasn't funny. He doubled down and said, no, but seriously, it's kind of smart. My mom's always had my back. I told him that's actually shady and makes me feel like he's already planning an escape route. He said I was being dramatic and if I don't have anything to hide, a prenup should be no big deal. So I said, cool, let's get one. Now he's sulking and saying I clearly don't trust him and I'm ruining the romantic part of our engagement, but didn't he bring it up first with that joke? His mom texted me today saying I'm already acting like we're divorcing before the wedding. Am I overreacting for drawing the line here? I want to say yes, but not by a lot, right? Not by a lot. You're not at fault, definitely. He made a really bad joke and doubled down on it. And you obviously don't agree with it, which is yes. And then you were like, well, what's the big deal? Cool, let's get it done. He shouldn't have said, like, let's do one if he was going to make such a big deal out of it. I feel like he could have communicated better. But hey, what do I know? It's between them two, but that's what it sounds like, right? It feels like the guy is too comfortable and way out of line here. But lady over here also overreacted just a touch. Just a little bit. Not anything crazy. Am I overreacting for feeling weird about a girl in our friend group always messaging my boyfriend instead of me? My 27 female boyfriend, 30 male, and I are part of a big, mostly male friend group. I'm seeing a trend here about the mostly male friend groups. I get along well with everyone, but I've never been super close to the other girls in the group. They hang out more often outside of the group events, and due to my studies and other life stuff, I never really became a part of that inner circle. I'm okay with that because I'm not the most social person anyway, but sometimes it feels a bit awkward when we all hang out, knowing they're closer to each other. There's one girl in particular who kind of rubs me the wrong way. She's very outgoing and just one of those people who's always on. A while ago, when we were all out together, she slapped my boyfriend on the butt. Probably as a joke, but I still thought it was weird. My boyfriend told me about it right away, and I trust him, but it didn't sit right with me. Recently, she's been messaging him more and more about group stuff, like if they're planning something, she'll reach out to him instead of me. Just yesterday, I got back from a short trip without my boyfriend, and she messaged him asking if he and another guy wanted to join the girls' night on Friday. I assume she didn't know I was already back, but even if I weren't, wouldn't it make more sense to text me instead of him? My boyfriend and I are super open with each other, and he always tells me when she messages. He even mentioned that at a recent get together, he felt like she was staring at him a lot. I'm not accusing her of anything, and I don't think my boyfriend is encouraging her or doing anything wrong. But I just can't shake this weird feeling about how she interacts with him. Am I overreacting for feeling uncomfortable with the way she keeps going through him instead of talking to me? Girl, hell no. I don't think you're overreacting. I feel like this lady is targeting your man. She sounds like a pick-me. Sorry to get all Gen Z slang on everyone here, but she sounds like a pick-me girl. She sounds like she needs attention from your boyfriend specifically. And good on your boyfriend for always communicating that. And hopefully you two have talked about it and how weird it is. You are not overreacting, ma'am. That other girl is kind of, I don't use this term loosely, kind of a bitch for it. And yeah, not overreacting. Good on you and the boyfriend. Up next, I think this is just a off my chest one here. Here we go. I lied about graduating just to make my parents proud, and now I don't know how to undo it. I don't know where else to get this off my chest. I'm 25 now. A few years ago, I dropped out of college in my final year. It was a combination of mental health issues, burnout, and honestly just not knowing what I was doing with my life. The problem is, I never told my parents. They were so excited for me. First kid in the family to go to university, they struggled so much to help pay for it. When the time came for graduation, I faked it. Rented the cap and gown, took pictures with friends on campus, even posted a few on social media. My parents cried tears of joy. They think I have a degree. They tell everyone how proud they are of me, and I've just been playing along for the past 2 years. I've been working odd jobs ever since, nothing close to what I could have done if I'd actually finished. Every time someone brings up my degree, I feel like I'm going to throw up. It eats me up inside. I want to come clean, but I honestly think it would destroy them. They sacrificed so much. I don't know what to do. I hate myself for lying, but I also feel like the longer I wait, the worse it will be. Ooh, boyfriend, this is a big one. I feel like this guy, OP over here, should tell his parents or her parents ASAP. I understand, right? You don't want to disappoint your parents. Every effort they've put in for you, right? And you just want to see them happy and proud of you, and you want to see everything they've worked towards pay off. However, you're lying to them, man. Like, you're lying to them, and that's also disrespecting the effort they put in, and let alone their image of you. I think you should come clean, and face the music early, right? This is a bad one. This is something that it hasn't happened to me, but I can see myself falling really, really low down this path. And yeah, hopefully OP is okay. This is a real bad one, guys. All right, moving forward from that one, we're back to Am I the Assholes? Here we go. Am I the asshole for leaving my quote unquote autistic fiancé in Target? Harsh title, but hear me out. I, 32 male, have a fiancé, Katie, 30 female. Katie spends a lot of time online consuming a lot of short form content. Over the last year or so, Katie has been watching a lot of autistic creators on TikTok and has been talking about them nonstop. She began making jokes / passing comments about her acting autistic, blaming things on, quote, the tism, end quote, which I mostly ignored. Then, she brought up seriously to me that she was sure she was autistic and wanted to begin a path to get professionally diagnosed. She explained that these creators had helped her to see, quote, many symptoms, end quote, that she had missed during her life so far. I tried to be supportive. I told her that diagnosis is an expensive and lengthy process, and that she shouldn't waste time on something just because she saw it online. Open parentheses, I was diagnosed with ADHD as a teenager before college, so I know what it can be like. Close parentheses. Over the last few months, Katie has been acting way more autistic in ways I have never seen her act. She walks around the house and flaps her hands. She claims to have meltdowns. She claims to need sensory breaks when I need her to do something such as walk the dogs or do the dishes. One of the most questionable and crazy changes she has made is that she says she feels like she goes temporarily nonverbal when she gets overwhelmed. This entails her not speaking to me with words, sometimes in situations anyone should be able to handle. A problem which I repeat she has never had before. Here's where I might be the asshole. Katie and I took a trip to Target to grab a few things and do weekly shopping. After we were there for a little, Katie stopped speaking to me and was covering her ears and actually started crying. She has never done this as long as we have been together, 5 years. She sat on the ground and closed her eyes, and I honestly had no sympathy. I told her that I was done with her random decision to act autistic for attention just because of people she had seen online, and finished the grocery shopping by myself, walking away from her. When I was done, she was already in the car and wouldn't speak to me. This was about 8 hours ago, and Katie hasn't come out of her room, won't respond to my texts. I think that she is acting like a baby because of a skewed perception that the internet has given her of a disability that she doesn't have, and even that it's mocking people who actually struggle with disabilities. I get that she was obviously going through something, but I was honestly convinced she was doing it for attention or some other issue due to the fact that she's never expressed these feelings or behaviors until she came across these pages. Am I the asshole? Loaded question. I think, right? It's hard to say, but I'm on Instagram a lot, not on TikTok, but Instagram. I see a lot of short form content from autistic creators. Some of them good, some of them bad, some of them straight up just faking it, obviously. And I think the good that it can do, which I think happened to Katie over here, is it makes you aware of autism that can or cannot be present in the world or in you, and it gives you the knowledge to want to get diagnosed. That's good, I think. But yeah, as I think this is American, because the American healthcare system can be a little dicey sometimes, and also they're in Target. It can get expensive. Getting diagnosed is a long and expensive process for someone who lives in America. I personally don't. It's kind of easier here. But that besides the point, that's a good thing, like identifying the symptoms, getting acquainted with what the disability is. I think it's good. I think the awareness is good. However, there are a lot of pages that are kind of predatory and misrepresent autism and other mental health disabilities. They just try to capitalize on this, oh, cute thing of like having autism. And I understand this is where I understand where the guy is coming from, of like, I think she's just faking it because so many creators do, and so many there are people who do that, who do it for attention. And I think this is a case of both the asshole, you know? Not to drop a verdict on these two, but the guy could have been more understanding about it and gotten Katie here professionally diagnosed so she could confirm, you know, in her head, so she knows, and they could take the proper steps towards it with the aid of an actual professional. Opie here should have given her that. However, I think there's also a thing of Katie full leaning into it from the POV of social media and not from a professional, which we can't blame her because she can't get the treatment. However, just full leaning irresponsibly into the social media, especially short form content thoughts on it, it's kind of bad too. And it can make it worse. And it can make whatever you have worse. You might not even have autism. You might have something else completely different. Or you might have autism and something else. You never know. So it's hard to just self-diagnose these things. I'm sorry this commentary went on for too long, but this is such an important topic, timely one. And I think it deserves the bit more time to discuss it properly, you know? Anyways, we'll move on. Next one. Am I the asshole for expecting my ex-girlfriend to move out after she broke up with me, even though she has nowhere else to go? I, 27 male, have been with my girlfriend Megan, 26 female, for 4 years. I really appreciate the names here. And we've lived together for 2 of them. We live in a house I inherited from my grandmother. Megan quit her job a while ago to pursue her master's degree full-time since her bachelor's wasn't opening any doors. I've been supporting her financially and emotionally while she's been in school. To be clear, I never resented that. I wanted to support her goals and was proud she was pushing forward in life. Her program is intense, and she's even taking summer courses. I work full-time and also take care of the house, which means some things slip through the cracks. I cook, clean, and try to keep things in decent shape. It's not perfect, but I genuinely don't think it's bad. I'd comfortably have friends over without worrying about the place looking or smelling off. I'm not an amazing chef, but I know my way around the kitchen. But yeah, they're mostly basic dinners. The past couple of months have been hard. Megan's stress levels have been through the roof and tensions between us have grown. She's been unhappy with how I clean or cook, saying I don't meet her standards. I get that she's overwhelmed, but I feel like nothing I did was ever enough. I still tried to be patient and supportive, but things hit a boiling point and we had a big argument. Megan broke up with me. It hurt, but I honestly think it was for the best. We were clearly not making each other happy anymore, so what was the point anymore? Here's the problem. Now that we're no longer together, I think it's fair for her to move out. She doesn't agree. She says she has nowhere else to go and that if she's forced to leave, she'll have to drop out of her program. Her mom and stepdad live the RV life, and she doesn't have friends who can take her in. She did receive a decent amount of money from her own grandmother when she passed, but she used most of it to cover her tuition. I know she wasn't blowing it. It really did go to school, but now she's tapped out and stuck. I get that this situation sucks and I don't want to see her crash and burn, but I also don't feel like I should have to keep living with someone who broke up with me. I've already given her 45 days to figure something out, even though legally I'm only required to give her 30. She's now trying to say she wants to work things out, but to me, it feels more like panic and desperation than a genuine desire to fix the relationship. I don't hate her, but I don't think it's healthy for either of us to keep living together in this limbo. So, am I the asshole for expecting her to move out after she broke up with me? Oh boy. I think no one is the asshole. I feel like it's a natural end to the relationship I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. We're gonna be here forever, but that's a natural end to a relationship. It happens. You crack, and then you can't patch things up. That's fine, right? However, I feel like the guy could give her a little bit of grace. Like, still give her the 45 days, have that deadline be there, but also not to press her too much if she can't make it the 45. I think it's wrong for the girl to, after being given the deadline, to try to work things out, because that does sound kind of like you're just trying to use the guy so you don't have to leave and pay rent, and it doesn't sound too good. And I understand where the guy is coming from there, and I understand where the girl is coming from. It's like you get desperate. No one is the asshole. It's a sticky situation. I hope everyone comes out of it healed and healthy. It's a bad one. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for sticking around while I play and read you guys these insane but shockingly human stories. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, drop a like, and I'll see you guys next time.